Kwanggae JDK. I wanted to talk about the double kicks that you see in Kwanggae. Kwanggae, we have a slow pressing side kick and then a really quick higher level side kick followed by the same on the other side. In our last session that we had before we closed classes to improve social distancing amongst members, we saw instances of that kick done in our sparring session. The sparring environment that we have at JDK is very, very safe, very controlled, and we are able to do techniques that you won't typically see in a lot of other places. And the reason being is that we are rationing back the power, we are reducing the power, we are cognizant of the sometimes the dangers of using techniques such as elbows or throat strikes, knee strikes, groin strikes, and we're basically really controlled and very light, almost non-contact if you want to think about it. So I won't recommend you doing this in a regular sparring session or encouraging the use of these techniques in a regular sparring session. Anyway, for the double kick that we were doing, we were throwing the side kick low to range it, and then once the opponent reacted to that side kick and tried to do a gap close or tried to throw a kick in response, we would throw another side kick without retracting the leg. So we will hold the leg out there, we will range the front leg. As the opponent reacts to it, coming forward with the back leg, we'll basically then throw the kick again to the back leg, or if a kick was thrown as a result from the opponent, we'll be throwing another kick directly at the supporting leg, which basically is the front leg. This is an example of the Japanese have this model, go no sen, sen no sen, sen sen no sen. Go no sen is the opponent throws a technique, you counter. Sen no sen is the opponent throws the technique, you counter at the same time. Sen no sen is you do a preemptive strike to shut down a future tactic. So this is an example of the sen no sen, which is basically the simultaneous counter to the opponent. Meaning, I am throwing and I basically have a technique that's spent. I'm staying in place. The opponent reacts to it, comes forward, and then whilst the opponent is throwing a secondary technique, or at least basically is the second in the sequence from me, so mine will be the first, the opponent throws a secondary technique, I'm throwing my technique at the same time to stop him in his tracks. It is very different from the Kwanggae, which is basically a slow pressing and then a fast high kick, which in terms of the interpretation could be slightly different. The slow pressing could be a way to interpret as that knee strike, which is basically the pattern trying to communicate to you that you need to be a little bit more careful with that particular technique. So you can do knee manipulations using that slow first pressing side kick, which allows you to rotate the knee to either side or jam the knee forward. And then the faster, higher side kick can be done when the opponent is then affected by the change to his base or his structure, and you're basically then throwing the technique out there. So the double side kick that I'm actually talking about is slightly different, but it was inspired by the pattern, and I thought to talk about it and entertain you at the same time. Lastly, I wanted to talk about the new haircut that I've got. So I am practicing social distancing for the COVID-19 virus. I was about to I was about to make an appointment to go and see my barber to cut my hair, and I decided, nah, I'll just cut it off all by myself. And I suppose keep a buzz cut until we have a little bit more of a control over this pandemic, and then resume my normal hairstyle. Anyway, good to talk to you and keep practicing.